I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the district. Our generating facilities, both Nebraska City 1 and 2, operated continuously through the month of October. Through the course of the year, it has about a 85 to 88%, depending on the unit capacity factor. So those units are running very well. Unit number 5 in North Omaha came offline for its 7-week boiler outage. It was taken offline September 26th. The outage is on schedule with boiler chemical cleaning beginning on November 1st. I think this is kind of interesting. This is really a change initiative. We would typically have probably worked our staff overtime to get this unit back up and operating, but with the very, very soft market conditions, we didn't use those overtime dollars. And so this typically would have been a 5-week outage. We extended it to 7 because of the cost-benefit analysis the team did on it, and it's just the kind of continual focus that we're doing on cost. And so I think this is an interesting kind of perspective around it. The board received a presentation Tuesday, on safety, and I just want to talk about some of the great accomplishments the team has gone through at our peaking stations. They've surpassed 21 years without a lost time injury. Central maintenance surpassed 2,000 days without a lost time injury, as well as did central maintenance machine shop. Our central maintenance electricians are currently over 3,100 days without a DART injury. So just great accomplishment for our men and women who are focused on safety throughout the district. Renewable energy contributed this month about 17.5% of our retail sales. Wind capacity factor was at 44%. Through the year, it has contributed about 16% of our retail energy sales, and the wind capacity factor is 44.6% on an annual basis. As we heard yesterday in Mr. Cortopassi and Mr. Hansen talk about Fort Calhoun Nuclear Station, it is in mode 1. It's operating at 100%, and it's been online for 99 straight days, and the plant is operating well. And we're seeing pretty significant improvements in performance. So I think that's very positive. Each month I talk about an individual in our organization that has died in the line of duty, one to recognize them, but it's also a memorial and really a recognition that goes on to our T&D organization about who they're going to talk about. And I think it's kind of fitting based on what's happened over the last month here. Our Gil Harshberger died on September 23rd, 1953 from injuries sustained from a fall while working on a pole near 68th and Mercy Street in Omaha. He was 33 years old and had been with OPPD for 7 years at the time of his death. This is kind of interesting. During World War II, while stationed as a cook on board the USS Nevada, Mr. Harshberger was injured when the ship was damaged by enemy gunfire and suffered a direct hit by a kamikaze plane off the coast of Okinawa. He was survived by his wife Pat, his son Daniel, and twins Bradley and Cindy. And in the month of December, OPPD will essentially have a stand down and a remembrance of all of our employees that have passed away in the line of duty. We talked a little bit about smart grid and meterings that Ms. Monroe talked about. So OPPD project team continues to work on our smart grid phase 1 project. The project is on schedule for operation in a really limited area in late 2016. The project consists of installing advanced smart distribution equipment linked by two-way secure communications to OPPD's energy control system. The team recently completed engineering evaluations and performance testing of that equipment that will be installed. And when the project is completed, we'll provide the infrastructure for OPPD to gain operational experience to reduce outage duration from events such as storms, car accidents, outages resulting from bird or animal contacts. It'll also provide opportunities to manage the voltage on our system to reduce voltage losses and really operate our system more efficiently, potentially reducing the need to construct new generation in the future. And finally, advanced metering will be tested, which will allow increased customer input and control of their energy usage in the years ahead. And it really ties very clearly with the platform that we're trying to develop going on in the future. So we're looking forward to this pilot and the opportunity to report it to the board in the coming months. We did have a transmission and distribution emergency response drill that was held on November 4th. thought we might have had to use it yesterday, but obviously the system held up really well. We had minor outages, but the system did really well. That's really an opportunity for us to look at our response on potential extreme outage scenarios to ensure that we can restore service safely and efficiently if there is a large event. We do a variety of, this was a kind of an actively live drill. Lessons learned are recorded and developed post-drill, after the drill, and it's really an opportunity for us to look at continual improvement in our storm response, and the team did a great job with that. Kind of tied to our cost initiative, our material management group worked with a third-party auditor called Revenue in completing a review of our contract compliance and accounts payable for transactions in the years 2012 to 2014. The purpose of the audit was to determine if we were charged or paid too much for the contracts that we had identified during that time frame. This company covered and reviewed over 160,000 invoices, which totaled about $1.8 billion in accounts payable spend. What we really found out, a couple good news items in this. One, the revenue organization kind of gave us an audit accuracy review of 99.99%. It's one of the best that they've seen in the companies that they've reviewed, which is very positive. It means our folks on the material side and procurement side just do an exceptional job. But in that benefit, we were able to realize a net of over $300,000 that we were able to receive from those audits. And obviously, those are important opportunities for us to reduce cost and to save money. Just a couple team items across the organization. We had a variety of our members of OPPD Energizers that gathered recently to replenish the teaching doll supply for Children's Hospital and Medical Center. These stuffed dolls are used for child support specialists at the hospital to teach children about a recent diagnosis or medical treatment that they're about to receive. So the team actually completed and built and sewn and decorated and colored over 66 dolls for the patients during this next season. So it's a great accomplishment of one of our organizations doing great work in the community. Governor Ricketts signed a proclamation for October 12th through the 16th to deem Careers in Energy Week in Nebraska. In conjunction with that, and you've heard a variety of other mentoring things that OPPD has done throughout the region, but on October 15th and 16th, we had over 150 students from the Buffett Middle School attend to talk about OPPD careers. So it was a great opportunity for us to have them for part of a day to talk about careers here at OPPD. And I just want to give you just an example that we also get. We get these periodically. I think it just speaks to the commitment of our employees in the community. And it was an example of a kindness that was brought to our attention from our HR Service Center when we received this email from a customer. And I'm just going to read the email to make sure I say it accurately. This morning on 10/27 at about 10 a.m. on Highway 133, and if those of you drive on 133, sometimes that can be kind of dangerous. Just north of 680, my son ran out of gas. He was on the side of the road, but his gas tank was on the highway side. So that it was not safe for him filling his tank. An OPPD truck came along, stopped behind him a ways, and put their flashers on to give him protection. And the men and women on that crew essentially watched for oncoming traffic, and the customer just wanted to thank us for this great gesture around safety and support for their son. So it's just a great example of the great work our employee men and women do each day here. With that, that concludes my utility report.